Hello. How are you? I hope well. My name's Keith. I am your meditation teacher here on this channel. This channel is called Meditation Breaks. And in case you've stumbled in here accidentally, here we learn about meditation. And there's a lot that you can do with meditation. I know a lot of people get into it to relax. But while we focus on that a lot here, we also kind of talk about how we can apply some of the things that we learn with regards to this meditation practice in our like actual day-to-day activities. And today's class is that to the nth degree. I don't really know what that means. This is one of, if not the most practical applications of meditation that I have ever done, learned, taught, been introduced to, whatever. And that's because it is starting to take meditation as a practice and find creative ways to use it for the things you're already doing. And we'll talk a little bit more later about why that's cool and important. So if you're like, hey, what is this guy rambling about? I don't know anything about meditation. Great news. That's where we're going to start. So each week, even though we have a topic, I always start with a very baseline introduction. What is meditation? How does it work? Does it work? Why does it work? Should you do it? All these questions that maybe you have if this is your first time meditating, or you're new to it, or you're returning after a long hiatus, right? So we'll start there. And then we'll do a very short breathing meditation to kind of get everyone situated, like, oh, that's how you do it. And then we'll move on to our topic and do another meditation at the end. Now, the meditation at the end, if you would like to participate it in its intended capacity, you will need some sort of a drinking liquid. Like water would be great. I don't know. You had a long day, you want wine? That's fine. I don't care. But you'll need, like, it doesn't need to be a full glass, just like a little bit within reach of you. And I will remind people later, but this is my first reminder. Okay, so we're going to get started, and we get started each week by asking a very cheeky question. What's meditation? Right? This word instantly conjures an image. And that image is not the same for all of us, but it's pretty close. And that image is somebody sitting on the floor cross-legged, their eyes closed like this. That's what we all think meditation is. Because when we type meditation into the lovely internet, that's what comes up. Countless photos of people sitting on a hardwood floor. And they look really relaxed, though every time I sit on a hardwood floor, my back hurts. So I don't know what's going on there. This is our generic kind of image of what meditation is. And you can meditate sitting with your eyes closed and hands, however, cross-legged. Like, that's just a seating position, right? So meditation isn't just a seating position. And in my opinion, and you know, other people will have their own, it's not a requirement to be in a specific position to do this. So if meditation is kind of like more expansive than that, then what's a definition that we can use? So here, the definition that I like to present is meditation is a technique that you can use to train your mind to become really familiar with something, which is not a phrase we generally walk around saying. We don't walk around being like, I'm familiarizing myself with how to make a pot of coffee, right? But our mind is doing that all day long. Every day, your mind is making connections, becoming familiar with certain things, labeling them, wording them. And this can sometimes seem out of our control, right? We're watching Netflix, it's our favorite show, and we're thinking about work. And we're like, no, I don't want to think about work. But our mind's like, yes, we will think about work. And so meditation is a great way to start to dictate what you want to be familiar with. And the reason you want to be familiar with something is what? Think of something you're really familiar with, like, I don't know, lifting your arm up. I don't know. That's a ridiculous one. Tying your shoe. That's way less ridiculous. Driving a car, walking, all these things. At this point in your life, you don't need to concentrate that much to do them. It doesn't take a lot of focus for you to tie a shoe. I mean, a little bit, but like you could have a conversation with me while doing it. You're not even looking, right? But back when you were a kid, you didn't even know what a shoelace was. You didn't know what a shoe was. And then you definitely didn't know how to bake a bow that was supportive. And the first time you tried it, it was a mess. There was a knot, right? And a little bit of practice, right? Start to become familiar with the mechanics, mental and physical, of tying your shoe or walking or driving, whatever. And the output of that is what? You don't have to try as hard to do it. It starts to just come naturally. It's sort of like second nature. And so this is our human superpower, the ability to become so familiar with something that it shows up without much effort. Now, it works both ways. And you probably know that. If you think about like something like getting annoyed or frustrated, we don't have to try to get annoyed. Something happens and we're annoyed. That's it, But something like patience, we have to sometimes try. I need a second, you gotta think about things, make some space. And that is not because we're like predisposed to being angry or something. If we're honest with ourselves, have probably had more practice letting our mind get annoyed than being super patient. And so our mind does what it's familiar with. And so meditation is a great tool, not the only one, but it is a great tool for starting to choose what do you want your mind to be familiar with, and to kind of like think about, what do you want your default to be? Do you want to be more relaxed? Do you want to be kinder? Like those things. And relaxation is a really interesting, I think, example, because most people get into meditation to relax. And it's easy to start to think that meditation relaxes me. Meditation equals relaxation. But meditation does not relax you. What you're doing when you're meditating with a focus on relaxation is you're becoming really familiar with relaxed you. It's a subtle difference, but it's a big one, kind of, right? Relaxed you already exists. It's in there. You've seen it. You want to see it more. But it's not like we have to do something to be relaxed. We have that ability, right? We just have to become more familiar with that. That way it starts to show up just as much as not relaxed does, right? And then maybe we tilt the scales even a little bit more. So that is kind of our goal here. with regards to meditation. And if you're like, that's all well and good, but I don't know what you're talking about, uh, seeing as I've never done any of this, we're going to do some meditation right now. And that thing we're going to do is something called breathing meditation. You probably have heard of it. It is pretty much what most people start with in terms of styles. And it's amazing. And for a lot of good reasons. And one of them, in my opinion, the most important is your breath's always with you, right? So this teaches you something really, really crucial. You don't need specific conditions to meditate. That's why it's such a good thing to learn. You don't need perfect quiet, might be nice. You don't need to go to that serene lake, might be nice, but you don't need to. All you need is just a little time and your breath, and that's it. So we're going to do some breathing meditation together. I will be guiding it, and so you're not going to be on your own or anything like that. Be about 5 minutes, and there's 3 steps. Right? Step 1 is we're going to choose to do this. We're going to choose to meditate. And at this point, you might be thinking that's not really like why we're doing that. I too thought that back in the day. So setting an intention or a goal is really important for training our mind to know it can do this when we want to, need to, whatever. Because each one of you has had meditative experiences before. If you've ever been in the zone working on a document at work or something, a project, and you lose track of time, you got knee pain and you don't feel it anymore. You're so focused on something that there's no room for the other stuff to try to pull your attention away. And that is what we are intentionally doing with meditation. It's called single-pointed concentration, not multitasking, right? So we're going to choose to do this. Then, while we're focusing on our breath, single-pointedly, and I'll be leading it, whenever you notice that you're no longer exclusively focused on your breath, and I do mean whenever you notice that you're not exclusively, like you just have a fleeting thought of work, that counts, right? You have, that's an itch on my knee. Where did that come from? That counts, right? Whenever you notice that has happened, your mind is being kind of pulled in a different direction. We're just going to say not right now to those thoughts, just like that, not right now, like just not right now. These thoughts are not unwanted or bad or whatever, intrusive. They're just thoughts. Our mind thinks, that's what it does. It's quite good at it. And we're just telling our mind not now. We'll get to those things later. Right? Then the last kind of step of this meditation practice is bringing your attention back to your breath. So choosing to focus single pointedly on your breath, noticing when your attention drifts, bringing it back like a little loop. And there is no barometer of success here. It's not like, I got distracted, I'm not meditating well. Like, your mind is going to get distracted. The goal of meditation is not to never get distracted, but to start to notice earlier on when you are, because it's easier to bring yourself back to what you want to be doing, or decide if this is a thought you want to have. Like, if you catch things early, that's our goal, noticing. Okay? Cool. So we're going to meditate right now. You'll notice I'm in a chair. You too can be in a chair. You can be in a bed. Had a long day? Lay down. Are you on vacation in a hammock? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want, sit however you want. Just make sure you're relatively comfortable. And you can go ahead and close your eyes. That helps with some of the visual distractions that tend to kind of crap up for us. And I'm going to guide us through about a 5-7 minute breathing meditation. Okay. Whenever you start a meditation, take a moment and check in with yourself. Ask, how am I feeling right now? What is my mind up to? Maybe you're feeling a little tired or sluggish. You had a long day. Maybe you're feeling energetic, excited. Maybe you're feeling a little melancholy. Maybe you're happy. It doesn't matter. Whatever your mind is up to is perfect. We're not doing anything about it. We are just noticing. Practicing taking an interest in your own mind. This is a technique called mindfulness. Mindfulness is an active awareness of your own thoughts, moment to moment, for the purpose of being able to respond skillfully to those thoughts. So, what's your mind up to right now? Having checked in, you can now set an intention, a little promise to yourself. And that promise, that wish, is to focus single pointedly on your own breath to the best of your own ability for the next couple of minutes. Let that promise, that wish, sit in your mind. Sit with it. This is your only task right now. All the other things can wait. And with that intention set, you can act on it. You can turn your full, undivided attention to your own breath, breathing in and out very gently, very naturally. Don't change anything about how you normally breathe. There's no need to take deep inhales or forcefully exhale air. However you normally breathe, that's what I want you to do. In and out. Gently, naturally. At some point, sometimes rather quickly, you'll notice your mind starting to drift. It wants to split time, think about more than just your breath. Maybe you're having a thought about something you have to do tomorrow at work. Maybe you're having a thought of something that happened earlier today. Whenever you notice that your mind has shifted in this manner, we can just say not right now to those thoughts. We will get to them later. You can actually imagine yourself picking up those thoughts, placing them beside you, where they are waiting patiently. And while those thoughts are waiting patiently, you can then turn your full attention back to your breath. In, out, gently, naturally. We're single pointedly focused on each moment of each breath. We don't often think about breaths in terms of moments. Breathing is something that we do without much thought many times a day. So, what is it like? What does breathing feel like when you hone in on it, when you focus on it exclusively, when you pay attention to each moment? As you breathe in, can you imagine, watch, as that air is pulled from the atmosphere into your body? Feel that air move through your body into your lungs, where your chest expands to make room. What about when you exhale? Can you feel your shoulders fall? Your chest contract? Can you watch as the air moves through your body and out back into the atmosphere, where it mixes with all the other pockets of air, dissipating? There are so many subtleties about breathing. That we probably have never thought about it in this way. Such a quick moment of breath, but so important. By focusing single pointedly on our breath, we can start to gain an appreciation for it. Notice some of these subtle, interesting aspects. Start to enjoy breathing in and out, gently, naturally. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath as many times as you need to. This process of choosing to focus single pointedly on your own breath, noticing when your mind drifts away from that, being able to bring your mind back to focusing on your breath, that is meditation. You are practicing meditating right now. You are training your mind to tap into its natural peacefulness. You're training your mind to focus on what you want to focus on. Right now, the only thing you want to focus on is breathing in, breathing out, very gently, very naturally. So for the last few moments, just enjoy sitting here. No need to think about too much. Just take a little time for you. Okay. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Hello. Welcome back. Guess what? You're a meditator. You did it. Maybe you were like, it wasn't so bad. Maybe you were like, whoa, what the heck's up with my mind? It can't stop jumping from thing to thing, right? And this kind of the second one I mentioned is extremely common. And if that's something that you experienced, congratulations, because this is a really important moment. You're noticing how busy your mind is by default. This is what your mind is used to doing, juggling as many bowling pins as you can, which is great for juggling bowling pins, but it's not great for being super relaxed. And so you might think like, well, I'm not good at meditation. I can't focus. Everyone is equally amazing at meditation. You just haven't practiced this. Your mind's not familiar with it. Your mind is like, what are you doing? I can focus on a million things at once. Isn't that cool? And we're like, no, don't do that. It's practice. It takes time. Meditation is a bit of a slow burn. But the concept of it is the same as learning to tie your shoe or drive a car. All these things that you've already done, gone from not knowing to being quite good at. This is no different. Just takes a little practice. Okay. Hopefully you found that to be relaxing. We are going to move on to our topic. And this is one of my favorite ones to teach. And I think if somebody came to me and said, Keith, you can only teach one meditation. I don't know why somebody would do that, honestly. I can't think of a scenario. But I would probably be like, well, this is probably the most practical one. This is a great, this class is specifically very good for people who are busy. And guess what? That's you. We're all busy. We all have a ton of things to do. I'm surprised you're even here, right? You got so much stuff going on. Each day we gotta go to work, we gotta do this, we gotta eat, there's like all these things, right? And so when somebody's like, hey, you know what would be really good for you is meditation. You're like, okay, cool. Well, where the heck am I gonna fit that in? Because our day's packed, you know? And what we just did is kind of like a formal, traditional meditation. We're sitting, our eyes are closed, this and that. But let's remember what the definition of meditation is, right? A way to become familiar with something, and how we do that. Choose to focus single-pointedly on something. Notice when you are no longer single-pointedly focused on it. Bring your attention back. That's it. Nowhere in there does it say sit down, right? And so when we're first introduced to meditation, we can think, I have to sit down and meditate to do this, to meditate. And that is a really wonderful practice. And you should try to do it. But we're not always going to be able to, all right? Because we're busy. The good news is that you can have a robust, fruitful meditation practice without even adding meditation, sitting down or whatever, into your day. You already do a ton of stuff. Maybe we can take one of those and layer some meditation onto it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think as we go along, generally what I find happens is people are like, I could do that. Oh, and I'm going to go over I'm going to go over some ones that are like pretty common. This is not all of the like other ways you can meditate. Anything can be meditation. If you choose to focus on it single pointedly, notice when you're not, bring your attention back. That's it. Okay. So one very common alternative to kind of sitting down. I'm interrupting myself. Reminder 2, when we do our meditation in like 15 minutes, you're going to need a little bit of water or beverage of your choosing. Just a bit. Right? That's it. That's reminder number 2. There'll be one more. So a very common kind of alternative to seated meditation is using movement for meditation. I bet you one of you out there, at least one of you, is a fan of something called yoga. Now, yoga is often... I walked an outdoor labyrinth yesterday. Yes. Very cool. That's a really interesting one, Andy. Thanks for sharing that, because that's like you're almost forced to focus on this only, right? Because you're in a labyrinth, right? It is very meditative. Yeah. Thank you. That's great comment. Yoga is meditation. Yoga is a meditation where the object of your meditation is your body moving. When you do yoga, the directive is not, hey, come do yoga. We're going to kind of move our body and you're going to think about work. No, that's not the directive. The directive is, hey, focus on how your body feels moving from position to position, right? We are choosing to focus single pointedly on something, in this case, the movement of our body. And then when we notice we're thinking about work, we're not like, oh, we're like, no, I'm doing yoga, right? And so we bring our attention back. That is meditation, if you choose it to be that. Like Andy said, he walked a labyrinth yesterday. Walking meditation is another really common alternative to sitting. If you're fortunate enough to be able to, you walk pretty regularly. You go to the grocery store. You park in the parking lot. And then there's like 30 feet from your car to the front door. This is time that you are already walking. You can't avoid it, right? What if you made this very small portion of your trip to the grocery store a meditative practice? Can you do that? Of course, just by choosing to do it. Maybe instead of just kind of walking, thinking, and you're thinking about whatever you're thinking about, you're like, I'm going to walk into the front door and think about how my feet feel as they make contact with the ground. That's it. All right. We're choosing to focus single pointedly on one thing. We notice when we're not doing that, we bring our attention back. Meditation. You also don't have to like walk. I don't know, if you have problems doing so. You could movement based, like lift your arm up. Oh, how does my arm feel as I lift it up? Down. I feel my shoulder like kind of straining a little. That's not good, right? But I do this all day long. Not like this, but like, I'm lifting my arms and stuff, but I don't think about those things, right? And so I can turn something as mundane as this into a meditative practice. And you might be like, okay, well, that's not as good as the seating one. Incorrect. They're the exact same, right? As long as you choose to do it. It's not like one's better than the other. Right? Cool. So movement's a good one. And as we go through some of these, I encourage you to like think about, oh, that might be a good one for me to try if you want to. There's no homework here, but try one. Don't try to do like all these things. You could go nuts. We can turn to our senses to also kind of help us find things to turn into a meditative practice. Taste. We're going to be doing that a little bit later. Oh, here's your third reminder. We're going to need a little bit of water, drink of your choosing for the upcoming meditation. Maybe I'll do 4 reminders. Who knows? Call like mindful eating, mindful drinking, whatever. We eat each day, hopefully, right? And when you are eating, what are you thinking about? It's generally not eating. I mean, maybe for like the first bite, but then we quickly are like doing something else. Maybe we're watching TV. I don't know, right? We're not just eating. We're not focused on eating, but we can be. We're already eating. It's built into our day. What if we turned the first 3 bites of breakfast each morning into meditative practice? We decide, okay, for the first 3 bites, I'm going to focus on how this food feels in my mouth, what it feels like to swallow it, all those things. Right? Only for a couple bites, you don't do it for the whole meal. Right? That is meditation. And that is something you can turn into a daily practice to the point where it starts to become second nature, like to have this kind of little moment where you're practicing meditation eating. So that's a good one. Smell of the air. Unless you're in a place where it doesn't smell that great, maybe you don't want to focus on that. Smell the candles. Interesting. I always like this one. I think of this one a lot because when someone lights a candle, big candle household here, the reaction is always the same. Oh, that smells nice. Unless it doesn't. But like usually, it's like, oh, that smells nice. Like, so we are kind of paying attention to that smell, but very briefly. And then we move on and we're doing other stuff. What if we like took a minute, 1 minute, 60 seconds and just focused on the smell of that candle? And that's it. Close our eyes and just focus on the smell of that candle, the aroma, what it makes us feel like. Meditate. That's meditation, right? And it's not any better or worse than seated meditation. It's the same thing. And I don't know, maybe if you're like me, you go like, candles get lit often. I don't know. That's not one that maybe happens all the time. Smell of food cooking is another one. Oh man, there's so much downtime when we're cooking, right? You're like, oh, do all this stuff and then wait for like 20 minutes, right? So what if we took some of that time, just like 2 minutes, to focus on what the food smells like? And then when we catch ourselves not, thinking about work or whatever, we bring our attention back. That's meditation. We're meditating using the cooking as the object of our meditation. The object of your meditation is whatever you have chosen to focus on. Smell. Oh, we did that one. Hearing sounds outside. Maybe you're walking to the grocery store, but you're like, I don't want to do that walking thing you talked about. But I will listen to the birds chirp. Totally fine. You can do that. Meditation. Listening to music is a really interesting one because we very rarely will listen to music and that's it. Normally, music is listened to while we're doing something else. We're driving, we're working. What if, when we toss on some music, we just take a couple moments, a couple bars. That's music lingo. And just focus on the music. That's it. The kind of tone of the singer's voice, if there's, lyrics to it, or the instrumentation, like, is it kind of not nasally? I don't know, whatever. That's meditation on music. Sometimes people meditate with music, like they're doing seated meditation and have music on in the background, which is not really, in my opinion, using music to meditate, because it's there, but you're not focusing on it. I don't know. Music's a weird one. Sight. Watching a bird fly, or a cloud pass, or the trees blow in the breeze, right? Or everyone's favorite, looking at your hand. You ever looked at your hand? A lot of weird stuff there. There's like a million lines on your hand in like weird arcs, and like almost look like lightning or like spider web or something, right? Guess what? Your hands have always looked like that. We never focus on it, So maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe we I'm going to stare at my hand and I'm like, oh, look, this line goes like over here and that one goes by my thumb. That can be meditation. Right? And then my favorite one, the last one we'll talk about, and before we do our meditation, that requires a small amount of liquid to drink, water or beverage of your choosing, is like tactile. And this one is my favorite. It's the one that I find myself doing the most, because it's kind of visceral. Like, there's like an activity here. And one that I think is really kind of cool is brushing your teeth. Now, when you brush your teeth, what are you thinking about? All sorts of stuff. Pretty much everything except brushing your teeth, right? Now, unless this is like your time to think about your grand plans, what about, we're already brushing our teeth, What if we're like, okay, for the like 2 to 4 minutes, I don't know how long you brush your teeth, right? I'm going to focus on how the bristles feel as they make contact against my gums, or even the sound, right? That's not really tactile, but like you could do sound here. You're already doing this. It's not adding time to your day. It can be a meditation practice. Showering, another good one. Taking a moment. What does the water feel like as it, makes contact with my skin? Getting dressed. What's it feel like putting on a sock? Just focusing on that, right? Touching your keys on the keyboard, pretending you're working if you're at work. I'm just moving my hands like this, and everyone's like, "Oh, that guy's working." I'm meditating. So this is really cool stuff, because when we are introduced to meditation, we're generally not introduced to the fact that anything can be your practice, right? And so we gravitate towards feeling like we need to sit down by ourselves for X number of minutes. And not everyone has a situation that allows them to do that regularly. And with meditation, like anything, doing things consistently is really important. So here is a way for you to start to think about your day, things you're already doing, and pick one and see if, you can turn it into a little lightweight meditation practice. If you want to. I won't be checking. Okay. Great. We're going to do one of these now. Now, here is it. Well, how many reminders am I up to? I think it's like 5. I'm really crushing it here. This is your last reminder to go get a small amount of liquid of your choosing. Water, wine, I don't care. Whatever. Tea. Sunny D. I haven't had that in a while. You just need a little bit, and put it next to your wherever you are. Now, you can go do that now. I'm going to talk long-windedly so you have time. Now, if you are like, wait a minute, my eyes going to be closed and I got to do some of this water? No. Okay. So when I instruct you to interact with this beverage, you can open your eyes to pick up the glass. All right. I don't want you spilling this thing all over your computer or TV or lap, top. So you can open your eyes to pick it up. It's fine. Cool. Okay. So we're going to do a drinking meditation. And what we'll be doing is we'll start with a little breathing meditation to kind of just like settle in. And then I'm going to ask you to interact with this drink. And we are going to meditate on drinking water. So when we do this, we're not focusing on our breath anymore. The water is the object of our meditation. And all thoughts that are not this water can wait. Cool? All right. So you can go ahead and close your eyes. And just take a moment to check in. What's your mind up to right now? Just now. Before is done. It's not a comparison. What's your mind up to in this exact moment? And having checked in, we can now set a little intention for ourselves. And this time that intention is to focus single-pointedly on what it's like to drink water. We are going to fully immerse ourselves in each moment that we interact with this water. That is your only task right now. All the other things can wait. Just you and this water. Let that intention, that promise sit in your mind. This is your goal. And with that intention set, I'd like you to pick up that glass of water or drink. You can open your eyes to grab it so you don't spill. And just hold it. Or just put your hand on the container. What does this container feel like? Can you tell the material of it just by touching it? Is it smooth? Does it have texture? Can you feel the temperature of the water through this container? Is the container warm to the touch, room temperature, cold? What does holding a glass of water feel like? Now I'd like you to bring that glass of water up to your nose and just smell. Inhale. What does this water smell like? Does water have a smell? Can you smell the container? What it's made out of? Smell the plastic, smell the glass. Can you sense the temperature of the liquid with your nose? Feel the steam if it's hot, the coolness if it's cold. What does smelling water feel like? Now I'd like you to take a little sip of this water. Don't swallow it just yet. Allow the water to sit in your mouth. What does the water feel like as it sits in your mouth? Can you feel it effortlessly moving around every obstacle? Your teeth, your gums, your tongue. The water is unfazed. It flows. Can you sense the temperature of the water changing the longer it's sitting in your mouth? If your drink was warm, it's becoming colder, isn't it? If your drink was cold, becoming a little warmer. How interesting. So many subtleties to water. Okay, you can swallow that sip. And then finally, I would like you to take a full sip of water, swallow it. And while you're doing that, pay attention to what it feels like to swallow a sip of water. Can you feel it moving through your body? Can you feel the temperature of the water as you drink it, as you swallow it? Does it make you feel warm or cool? What does drinking water feel like? So for the last few moments here, you can continue to take sips of water and just enjoy drinking it. When you focus single pointedly on something, you often find subtle joys in the activity. Maybe you're finding some subtle joys in drinking water. Okay. When you are ready, you can open your eyes. Congratulations, you're hydrated or tipsy. I don't know, whichever you chose. So, what did we actually do here? We chose to focus single pointedly on something. In this case, water. We were kind of like steeped in the moment to moment of the water. Right. And then there were probably some times where your mind drifted and you're thinking about something other than water. Right. We just bring our attention back. We turned drinking a little sip of water into meditation. We have practiced meditation today by drinking water. And I know I've said this a lot, but it's important. This is not like a lesser version of sitting down with your eyes closed and breathing. Meditation is meditation, period. And so if this sounds interesting to you, think about one of the ones we talked about or something that we did and that popped into your mind, something you do, something you're already doing. Don't go and start like if you're like, oh, I'm going to do the walking one, but I don't walk. Like, yeah, yeah. Pick one that you're already doing because the goal here is to kind of start to learn, teach yourself that this doesn't need to be a big to do, right? It won't require you carving out time, really. Do one. And then if you're like, I'm going to do the brushing your teeth one, and you're like, I don't like this. You try a different one. Right? But do one. Try one. Okay, cool. That's it. Hopefully you found that to be enjoyable, relaxing, entertaining. All of the above. I don't know. I hope so. If you did, great. Come back next week. We'll talk about something else. We won't be drinking water. All right. Sonny, so glad you've been here directing us in this channel for a long time. Yeah. It's been a while, right? I the other day I was thinking about it. I'm like, it's been going on a bit. That's good. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Also, thanks for anyone who subscribed during the live stream or chooses to do so at a later date or has done so in the past. Means a lot to me. Thank you. Lets the algorithm that I don't understand know that people are interested in this so more people can try it. So thank you to anyone who chooses to do that. And finally, if you're like, whoa, I've never liked water more than in this moment. Meditation is awesome. I like that. I teach private instruction. And the cool thing about like one-on-one private instruction is that we can focus on something that's really pertinent to you. Like everyone here wants to get something different out of being here. Maybe it's anxiety you want to work on or whatever. And with like kind of the one-on-ones, we can focus on that. So if that's interesting to you, email me. I'm going to give you my email now and we'll find a time. I do it all virtually. It's pretty laid back. My email, you can also just email me any questions you have as you're meditating on your own. My email is keith@meditationbreaks.com. Keith@meditationbreaks.com. Did I spell it correctly? Yes. Wow, what a day. That's my email. If you have any questions about meditating on your own or you're like you have a fleeting interest for a one-on-one meditation, email me. Thank you guys for being here. It means a lot to me. We talked a lot about today about busyness. You're busy, and I know that. And I think it's really cool that you took time out of your day, an hour, to be here and learn this. Some of you every week. That means a lot to me. So thank you for doing that. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I will see you next time. Enjoy water or whatever.